are grades and test scores? I think a lot of athletes think it's not as important.
We get the question all the time of what grades do I need to get a Division I scholarship, or what grades do I need to be, eligible to play in college? And the NCAA does have restrictions there, and now it's on a sliding scale, so it's not an exact answer though. It used to be like around a 2.3 GPA and around an 800 math verbal SAT, which are very poor grades. The myth out there is like, hey, you just need to be, this level of a student to be able to play college sports. Now, if you are 6'8" and 350 pounds and run a 4.5 40 and you're a freak athlete and you're ridiculously skilled at your sport and you're one of the top 10 kids in the nation at your sport, you do probably just need to be one step over eligible, right? You just need to pass that test and get that 2.3 and get the 820 math verbal, or the sliding scale now. But assuming you're not that level, which 99.9% of us are in that category, grades are so important, because the next level other than NCAA eligibility is you actually have to be able to get into the school. So each individual school will have different levels of admission. 50% of the schools in the nation need at least a 3.0 to get into their school. Now think about that for a second. And there's roughly 1,800 schools that offers sports, different at every sport. If you have a 2.9 GPA in high school, you're cutting your chances in half right off the bat.
Wow.
Now that's just one level. The second level is the level for you to get academic money from the school. So of course, if the 3.0 is a cutoff to get in, maybe 3.5 is a cutoff to get academic money. Now let's take a scenario that's very common that I had a lot as a college coach. If I have a kid and I have one full scholarship to give, and I'm looking at two kids, and let's say one of the kids is a really poor student, so I would have to use a full scholarship or a 100% scholarship for that athlete. I have another kid who's a good student and he's going to qualify for a 50% academic scholarship. So I only have to use a 50% scholarship on that kid. So I could technically get two of those kids for the price of one.
Wow.
Even if that kid was a little bit worse of a player, in my opinion, I'm probably more apt to take the good student because I'm only using half of a scholarship. Now remember, I only have a certain number of scholarships that I can use. So I would much rather give a half than a full. So if I give the half scholarship, I get to keep the other half to use on somebody else. Now, add on to that, the fact is, I'd probably rather coach the good student because I don't have to worry about study hall. I don't have to worry about them checking up with their teachers and making sure they don't flunk out, because I don't want to give a kid a scholarship, teach them and coach them for a year, and then have them flunk out.
Right.
Now I'm in the same boat next year. I also would probably make an assumption that the smarter the kid is in the classroom and the harder working they are in the classroom, the better they're going to be at picking up my offense, at picking up my defense, at being coachable and so on, and being hardworking and doing what I want them to do. If they're not doing what their high school teachers want them to do, why are they going to do what I want them to do when they come to college? So for all of those reasons, academics are so important. And then another twist on that is sometimes being a good enough student can get you into a school that you otherwise wouldn't have got into. Like, let's take the elite schools in the nation, like the Ivy League and the Patriot League. What they'll have is, of course, very hard to get into those schools as a regular student. The athletics at those schools, being Division I, will have a waiver system where, say, the volleyball coach will be allotted 4 kids that don't meet the criteria to get into that school on their own. They can pull 4 kids and get them into school, but only 4. So if you're good enough to get into that school on your own, they don't have to use one of those waivers on you. So when somebody asks me, what kind of grades do I need to play, this sport in college or whatever, my answer is always the absolute best grades that you can get. If you want to save money on college, your batting average or your points per game or your assists per game or your ERA isn't as important as your GPA, your SAT, and your ACT. Those are your most important statistics when it comes to saving money on college.
Go to sportsmentaltoughness.com to get your free video training and guided visualization MP3 on how to perform under pressure. I'm Craig Sigel, the Mental Toughness Trainer.